If that makes me a bad dad,
let's get back over 19
so be it.
at least.
But I want nothing more than to be able to look at my son on Christmas morning
faster,
and go,
more importantly, faster.
Are you happy? And when he takes his puss out and shows the family, I go, motherfucker, that's a real pussy. I wish I wasn't a faggot. I'd fuck that pussy right now. And he's like, Dad, shut up. He's like, Dad, will you stop? It's the year is 2030. And my husband goes, can you stop joking around about fucking your son's pussy? And I'm like, first of all, it's my son. Second of all, I'm kidding. This is a joke.
This is looking good. This is the type of stuff that I play for here.
Non-binary.
Exactly the type of stuff that I play for.
Being who he's dating comes and picks him up, who's a demisexual, who's
hilarious,
involved in a relationship with my daughter. But my son still identifies as a he, they, she. So I can say son. He's like, I'll make it easier for you, Dad. And then they show up and they are like, oh my God. And my son's like, my dad is like joking around about like wanting to fuck my pussy. He's such a fucking weirdo. And they're like, your dad like loves you. He's like he really like supports you. Like, do you know how much I wish my dad talked about sucking my cock? My dad didn't even want to see my cock when I got it. You know how easy it would be for me if I came home for Christmas and my father was joking around about sucking my cock?
Oh, this shit is too fucking crazy. Oh my God.
He's like a fun guy. He's a fun guy. He's talking to you about fucking your pussy because he actually took the time to look at your pussy and look at it and congratulate you and affirm you as a person. And my father doesn't even want to discuss it. So maybe I'm not going to feel too bad for you that your father has to fuck your pussy. I think that's kind of cool, actually. I think that's pretty fucking cool that your dad did that in front of everybody. That's Christmas 2030 in the Dillon household. I'm telling my son he's got the best pussy because I worked hard for it. I said, I was out there doing shows on tour buses, flying around, doing podcasts. Why? So you can have a fat, wet puss. That's why. That's why. So that when your girl puts that strap on and just takes you to town and that pussy's wet, it's like actually wet. It's like a fucking flume ride at fucking an amusement park. It's because your father put the time in. Do you understand that? That's my pussy. I own that pussy. I've given it to you because you're my son and I love you. You're my son. And then I grab his pussy.
Yeah.
I go, I just want you to remember.
He's going to take that.
What I did for you. I say, every time you touch your pussy.
Okay.
I tell my son this. I'm dying now. We fast forwarded the story. I'm dying from 6 cancers at once. Doctor's like, we've never even seen this. I'm dying and I'm like, every time you take your pussy out, know that I want you to think of your father. Think of me when you take your pussy out because you got a beautiful pussy. And then my son's a little older now. My son's like, well, it's not the pussy you saw back then. I go, I know. All pussies change, but they're still beautiful. And then I go to heaven, and God goes, you did everything right.
It's a draw if he wants it.
God goes, ironically, this is everything you should have done. TimDillonComedy.com. Goodbye. Good night.
All right. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. We have coming up later in the broadcast an insider from SVB, Silicon Valley Bank.
Watch this one. All right.
I was on Twitter the other day. I was scrolling on Twitter, and I try not to do that, but I do. It's addictive. It's not as addictive as TikTok, which is the problem. The TikTok algorithm, they say, is the most addictive. But Twitter is, now it's a little more fun now than it was. It's always been crazy. But so I go through it, and I came across these kids that were yelling about Biden. And Twitter's, they're like young dudes screaming about Biden, about that they love Biden. It's hilarious. It almost felt like trolling, but it wasn't. That they love Biden and that Gen Z is going to elect Biden and all that stuff. And usually on Twitter, it's the little Nazi kids that are always chirping about how like the band, their band teacher made them trans again or something else, which it may or may not be true. But it's usually that's the contingent that I see a lot. I guess maybe that's who follows me or whatever. But I saw these kids and I thought it was like a joke. And I've been trying to get David Hogg on the show. We tried to get David Hogg on the show. David Hogg will not come on the show. I don't know what he's afraid of, or maybe he just, loathes me. I don't know. But I'm watching these freaks, right? And they're just screaming and yelling about Biden and Gen Z. And I invited them on the show. And I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised that you said yes. And you're here.
Yeah, of course. In LA for some odd reason.
And you're here, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you were told not to do it by a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's right.
But
no way.
Now,
oh my God.
what's the deal with you?
I'm just
because
too
everybody
slow.
says